Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I have another art storage video for you today, and today we're going to look at my die cutting area. I don't have as many dies as many of you, but I think I have some ideas that can help you get your stash under control, and I'm sure I have more than some of you, so hopefully these ideas will come in handy for you. So if we look over here, in the corner, I have my die cutting machine, my electric die cutting machine, and this is a Cricut Expression. And I got this many years ago. I would say probably about 5 years ago when they first came out. And at that time, you could get software for your computer to be able to cut your fonts and SVG files and convert different files into cuttable files. And the software was called Sure Cuts a Lot. That software company's still in business, but they can no longer make it compatible with Cricut machines. Unfortunately, for anybody that doesn't have the software, you're kind of out of luck, but I still have it on my laptop, so I am very fortunate. And so, I feel like I'm saying so a lot. So if I'm using my cutter, I'm either using with my laptop here, or I'm using it with my Gypsy, which I'm not sure if they still make the Gypsies. I'm thinking they discontinued those. I'm not 100% sure, but the Gypsy is a little machine by Cricut that lets you store your cartridges inside of it, and then you just plug this into the USB port on the Cricut, and then you can cut any of the designs from your cartridges and kind of like manipulate them and stuff on the tiny little screen. So if I want to use something that's on a cartridge, I use this. If I want to use something that's on my computer, I use my computer. And the cool thing about this was because I had the personal cutter, I lent my personal cutter and all the physical cartridges to a friend of mine. So she has the use of all of that, and I have the use of all of it, so that worked out really well. The other things I keep in this box, which actually was an old record cabinet, I have refill laminator packets. This is my little laminator I picked up at online from ABC Distributing. It was $17, and then the refills, you got 100 laminating refills for $5, and they were different sizes. They were like the packets, you put your stuff in it, then you run it through and it heats it up and melts it. And you got a bunch of 8.5 by 11, 4 by 6s, and badge ID size. So I have the big sheets right there underneath the laminator, and then I keep the smaller packets right in there. And I bought a couple sets of refills just in case they were discontinued, but I think it's a standard thing and they all would work with that. The only other thing I think might be handy to have over here, or make sense to have over here, would be my bookbinding machine, my comb binder, but I only use that a couple times a year, so I actually have that on a high shelf over there since I don't need to get to it that often. In this pink bin, I keep all my letterpressing papers and letterpressing inks, and also the little ink. It's not a stone, it's actually a piece of plexiglass, but if you look in here, I got a bunch of this letterpressing paper. I have business cards and regular cards, and also the little bumpers so you can line up your letterpressing plates and stuff. They had huge clearance at AC Moore, and it was like 90% off, so I stocked up there. I got all the colors of ink, and I just keep it right here because I use my I do letterpressing with my die cut machine, so it makes sense that it's all right here and accessible. If I had to hunt for it, I'd never use it. So you have to keep your things handy so you have a good workflow so things get used. Underneath, I have this wine box, and it's nice because it was like a wine crate, and I think there were probably like 3 bottles of wine in it, so it's divided, and it's perfect for putting my embossing folders in here because they're not all buried. They stick out halfway, so I can really quickly flip through and see what I have. I have some of my smaller dies. These were some Cuttlebug dies that I picked up at Big Lots on clearance, and there were some fairly useful shapes, so I grabbed some of those, and then some smaller embossing folders here that came with the matching die. And then I also have, I'll show you, I have the homemade and also store-bought little embossing diffusers. So like if you want to use an embossing folder but you want to have just like a frame embossed, you can use these and achieve that look. And I think I have a video on that if you want to search embossing frames or something like that on my channel. That will probably come up. And I also have instruction booklets for my die cutters in the back in case I need to, instructions, in case I ever want to look at them. I don't think they've ever been looked at. Maybe when I first got them I might have perused them. Alright, so for die storage, I have a square basket, and actually up until last week all my wafer thin dies fit in here. I have a 6x6 album, and I just have magnet sheets that were scraps from the sign shop. I asked them if they had any scraps, and these are kind of the pieces they have left over when they do car decals, and they just gave them to me. And so they're great. You could stick a die on them or a set of dies, and they stay in place, and then you can slide them right in one of these little page protectors. I haven't seen these 6x6 albums at the dollar store in a long time, so I'm not sure if they're still there or not. But a basket like this works really well, because at the time when I had the dies that are in here, their packaging was not very good for storage. The Spellbinder ones I had to cut the package apart to get to them, and then I couldn't really put them back in, and it wasn't really useful to put them back in because the plastic was sharp and it just didn't work. And then some other ones I got came in little baggies with no metal inserts, so it was just really handy to be able to flip through them and see what I had. And since I did use the basic shapes I had so much, I decided to invest in some more, and Doris came out with lower priced nesting frames, and since I really didn't have many, most of the designs were very new to me, and they were on sale for $6 a set at Consumer Crafts, so I grabbed a bunch. And the cool thing, and I'm going to show you my favorite one, that one, I like that, it's called like Book or something. But the cool thing about this is each of these comes in a clamshell case, and I've never worked with Doris, but I just happen to like this. The cool thing about this is that, you know, you can actually reuse the packaging, and there's a magnet sheet on the inside which you can take out and stick these directly onto it, or they hold pretty well just on top of that cardboard. So I thought that was nice. Finally, somebody's come out. Well, and I think other companies have, but I mean, this is very reasonably priced, and they came out with the magnetic storage panel already there. So I got these on sale for $6 a set. The regular $15. They're not on sale anymore, but it might be one of those things they put on sale often at Consumer Crafts. I'm not sure. So I got a bunch of just basic shapes that I didn't have because I really only had a couple fancy shapes, and that was it. So and I do find that I use them a lot, so I figured why not. And then my 6x6 little album fits really well in this basket too, so there it is. Now here I have my letterpressing plates, and again, I picked up a few with a 50% off coupon because I was making my own homemade letterpress thing, which really worked. And but I liked it, but they were $24 a set for these little kits, so I was like, well, I'm gonna wait. And then I was able to pick up a bunch on clearance for about $6 a piece. So I think I have probably just about everything that you know, came out from the L letterpress thing. I don't know if they ended up going out or discontinuing it or what, but I have all these in here in baggies with their envelopes with all their designs on the front, so I can see exactly what I have. And then I have a little soup can in here with all my embossing folder borders. And then I've got I have just like 3 or 4 really long borders. Are like 3 by 12. They're for scrapbooking, and I just have them tucked in the back because they don't really stay. I can't put them in there and have them stand up because the shelves are not deep enough, or not tall enough rather. All right, so I'm gonna just move it over a little bit so you can see that. You can see this shelf here. I picked this up at a yard sale for a couple dollars. It's perfect for my steel rule dies. So I have them all on the shelf so I can see what they are. I have 3 sets of alphabets, which were a crazy deal. I got them for like $5 a set, and they were normally like $150. I think it was Custom Crops a few years ago. I think most every place was getting rid of their steel rule dies because I think they were too expensive to ship and they were a pain. So I like to cut them out of foam, make my own thickers. Really, really handy. I have some basic thick cuts. Now these are great because you can cut, and these actually I think came with my Big Shot machine. You can cut thicker materials such as chipboard, make your own ornaments, do all sorts of fun things. And then I just have a few of just in basically designs I know I would use over and over again, and I would want to cut thicker materials out of, like hearts and clock hands and flowers and book plates and ribbon slides and stuff like that. So they're all over there. Now this was really fun, and you guys might even have some of these around, and if not, they're pretty easy to find. This is a tea box, and it came filled with tea one Christmas, but this isn't how I usually keep my tea. I usually keep my tea in the boxes it comes in. So, but it was perfect for all these little thinlet dies, the little sizzlets and the little embosslets. And I just have them organized by the type of die they are. Like I have all my corners together and all my flowers together. I even have some of these itsy bitsy little embossing folders together. And they fit so nicely in this little box. And it keeps them ready to go, dust free, and I can flip through them pretty easily. And that just sits here on my table. And then right under that is my die cut machine, my Big Shot. You can see right there, and that's what I primarily use. Now I also have an Epic 6 because I got it on clearance along with the letterpressing stuff, because I wanted to see if it was as good as my homemade one, and it does work. My homemade one works as well as a store-bought one, but get the whole package with a die cutting machine, which I thought it would be nice to have a backup in case my Big Shot ever breaks. I've had my Big Shot since 2008 and it's worked like a dream ever since. It's amazing. But I thought I'd have the Epic 6 for traveling with, for when I do classes. And I liked having the longer cutting pads and embossing pads and cutting plates, because with the Big Shot I only have the 6x9, but now they have longer dies and longer embossing folders, like the ones I showed you here, that you need the longer pads for. So I figured, I don't know, I paid less than $40 for that, for the Epic 6 and all the dies and cutting pads and letterpress things and brayers and things that went with it. And I thought it would, I mean, just to get the longer pads alone, I think it's 30 or 40 bucks. Not to mention it's 15 circle dies and all the other stuff that came with it. So sometimes, you know, you got to keep your eyes open and think ahead. You know, sometimes you do want doubles of things. And so that's why I have that. And then I have some extra cutting plates and my squishy pad and just the different things I need to grab easily or right there within reach. I think that pretty much does it. I also keep some, I have these like candy bins up here that came from a party store that was going out of business. They're just cheap plastic candy bins I paid $1 for, but I have like replacement blades, my deep blade holder for the Cricut machine there. These little Sharpies, if you put an elastic band around them, you can put them in the little blade holder thing in your Cricut and you can draw with them, so they're up there. And I've got some miscellaneous cords on my camera and other stuff. Just, and my, you know, then I also have silk flowers and stuff up there too, but that really doesn't pertain to die cutting, so I guess I won't talk about that. But that's it. That's all my die cutting stuff. I hope that has helped you kind of think up some new ways to store your stuff if you're having trouble thinking of where to put it all. I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'm happy to help. If you have anything else you want to see how I organize, I'll put the playlist, my studio tour organizing playlist in the video description as well, so you can check that out. And if you don't see what you're looking for, please let me know and I'll try to do a video for you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. Bye now.